Hey, what's up, guys? So, in this episode, we're going to be talking about what if Satoshi Nakamoto's identity is truly revealed. Now, a lot of, I think right now, a lot of people are okay. So you have Craig Wright, claiming that he is Satoshi Nakamoto, and McAfee, right? John McAfee is claiming that he knows exactly who is Satoshi Nakamoto and will want to reveal his true identity. But however, there was no date given. This is across his Twitter, by the way, and of course, what kind of made me create this episode, because I saw Dan Pina's Dan Piana's summit, right, where he commented that he even knows who Satoshi Nakamoto is. And if you don't know who Dan Pina is basically a $50 billion, his net worth is basically $50 billion, right? So you might want to check him out. His site focuses on quantum leap advantage, where you use other people's money, obviously, to purchase other companies that are revenue generating. And from then you structure a business around. Obviously, you restructure the business and you flip it, right? So that's basically what he teaches, and whatever he does is all free on his website. And he's basically a no nonsense kind of guy. He's already, I think, 70 over years old. He doesn't care too much about what the world thinks about him or whatever. And when he commented that he knew who Satoshi Nakamoto was, and if that were to happen, Bitcoin would go to zero. So obviously he didn't further elaborate why it would go to zero, because that was not the main focus of why he was there. He was just basically talking about self-esteem and whatnot, and that was the beginning part of the episode. Pretty much about why these days we are considered snowflakes, right? We have very low self-esteem, so on and so forth, and it was. So I was like just watching him and trying to understand the way he teaches, because I think it's always interesting to watch people of his kind of status and at the same time what he has achieved before and his thoughts about life. But anyway, I think this episode does in a way concern us, right? What if Satoshi Nakamoto is revealed? And obviously, I don't have all the answers. I pretty much would like to hear from you guys what would happen. I mean, feel free to comment in the chat, and then obviously, when you all have your own theories, feel free. Does Bitcoin really go to zero? What happens to this whole crypto economy that has been created around it? What happens to the exchanges? What really happens? No one really knows. But anyway, let me put in my 1 cent worth, and then let's see how accurate we are. Let's assume that we start from the top, right? Let's assume that truly he's revealed as this person in America, according to John McAfee, that he stays in the US. Now, obviously, he didn't state whether he's an American or he's just living there. Okay, so if let's say he is American, what are the implications? So I'm thinking, this whole space has gradually evolved, and of course, Bitcoin has always been associated with all the bad stuff. But then again, that we have achieved so much things in terms of infrastructure. Obviously, all the institutions are building digital asset solutions or digital asset services for this market. And now you're trying to tell me that the moment someone wants to reveal this person's true identity, the Bitcoin price will dump. Now, as far-fetched as it may seem, there could be some possibility that is gonna happen, because I mean, okay, why would it affect the price? Firstly, the whole reason why Bitcoin even gained this value was through the whole mystery that no one wants to claim ownership of it, right? And when no one wants to claim ownership of it, it is, after all, an open source platform, isn't it? Right? The whole idea of decentralization, democratization, financial inclusion. Finally, now people can transact peer-to-peer and offer peer-to-peer related financial services to include more people who are unbanked, right? who are unbanked. Okay, so that's kind of like the whole reason why everyone just wants to get in on Bitcoin. And of course, if they have a failing economy, right, a failing banking system or corrupt government themselves, where their own currency isn't reliable, they usually go to Bitcoin. So this is what's been happening, and maybe perhaps that's why the value has been actually increasing over time. And of course, as the network becomes more secure, because there are more miners supporting it, it becomes like this whole very unique ecosystem that has never existed before. So right now, even if Satoshi Nakamoto is revealed, I really feel that the network is still going to continue. Right? It is still going to continue. The only concern is what happens to that mysterious 1 million Bitcoins that is owned by obviously, this person. Will he be required to sell, or why would he even sell even if it was revealed? Right? Even if it was revealed, why would he sell it? So right now, if you look at if let's say if it's 1 million Bitcoins, right, and the current price is 5,000, for example, that would work out to $5 billion. Now, obviously, if this were to suddenly dump onto the market, there's not enough liquidity to even support, right? But it is, after all, a $177 billion market. Let's assume that were to go across all the exchanges, all the OTC providers, right? For whatever reason. So we're just talking about selling first. Let's not talk about why it's being sold. Okay, so let's say if it was to be sold, 5 billion, I don't think it's that big a deal. Really, it isn't that big a deal, because on a 24-hour time frame, as you can see, like for example today, Bitcoin lost, or at least, the crypto market lost, I think, a good 7 to 8 billion, because it was around 180 billion. Now it's about slightly on the lower side of 170 billion. So easily 10 to 20 billion goes in and out in our market anyway. So does it truly affect? Would it truly affect the market? For sure, right? Everyone would be bleeding, and maybe Bitcoin would go back down to the all-time low again. Okay, but why sell? My question is, why sell? So let's say if this individual is so heinous and criminal, right, and somehow he's going to be prosecuted for creating this system that is kind of bypassing the banks and whatnot. Aren't the banks actually pretty pleased that this whole technology and receptiveness by the people are allowing them to kind of improve their existing legacy system? I mean, everyone should be very thankful that right now, this whole blockchain and the distributed ledger technology really took off, right, organically. And yeah, I mean, sure, they came on board much later. They started to toy around with the whole blockchain protocol ideas very much later. But hey man, a lot of the research and development really happened through the community very openly and very freely. So it's to me is like it's a really ridiculous notion when Dan Pina mentioned that Bitcoin will go to zero. So whatever the reason, like I said, he didn't reveal. He just commented that it will just go to zero. So I'm asking myself, okay, why would a $50 billion, net worth individual, right? And this puts him at one of the top few individuals in the world, right, that have that kind of net worth. He is like one of basically he's just the elite, right? So either he cares about what he comments about, or he doesn't care, right? Or he doesn't care at all, right? And whether he gets that prediction right or wrong, it doesn't really matter to him, because he's already very successful on his own. Now, he did make a comment that when Bitcoin hit 19,000, right? He said that was it. That was really it for Bitcoin, and apparently a lot of his mentees lost billions of dollars. So, so to me, I think it's collectively losing billions and not a few mentees who are billionaires who lost billions, right? So that was that. I mean, obviously it was a speculative time for everybody. But will this individual be prosecuted for whatever that has that Bitcoin has done, or whatever the network has done? Which is really ridiculous. It's like saying that whoever created the internet, right, is going to be responsible for all the porn and all the illegal transactions that have happened on the internet. right? That's what it means, right? I mean, why would you prosecute someone, or just say that because that individual could clearly create this whole decentralized system, right? Because he feels that right now we need a better financial system because of what happened during the subprime and financial crisis. So maybe because of that, but don't whistleblowers, I mean, obviously we all know what happened to Julian Assange, right? When he reveals all the secrets from America, so on and so forth, and around the world through his website WikiLeaks, right? But if you're creating an open source system, anybody can do whatever they want, right? And as long as people agree and that particular chain or that ecosystem survives and thrives on its own, why does anyone have any influence on it? So right now, there's no way that any one particular government or jurisdiction could really shut down the whole blockchain or or Bitcoin network. Now, the only thing is what happens to the 1 million Bitcoins. So why would it even be sold? He can always claim that, hey man, I lost the private keys or whatever, right? All these things are in my mind. But I really feel that we're gonna be okay. I really personally feel we're gonna be okay. And the thing is, right, I just feel that there's so much invested already, and there's so much good that can come out from this space that it really doesn't matter what happens. And to me, I'm also very curious, like, truly, do they believe that I'm curious to really see who this individual is. And I don't know, maybe John McAfee just wants to prove that he's the main man, that, wow, I'm able to find whoever this individual is, and, is more popularity for me. I don't know. I mean, there has to be a reason why he's doing all these kind of things, right? And for Dan Pina to even just mention it, right? I really don't know. There could be something, brewing behind the scenes. But then again, you have all these like Ameritrade, right, who is venturing into possibly testing out on Bitcoin. So you're trying to tell me that Jay Clayton, after spending all the time, right, going through all the ICOs and defining what ICOs are and how digital currencies are supposed to be managed and run, suddenly this whole thing erupts, right? It opens up a new can of worms. And the only reason why I would even prosecute this individual is for the fact that somehow they would pinpoint him to creating a network to siphon money for illicit activities. That means it was clearly pinned on him that the whole Bitcoin network, okay, was meant for illegal activities. That was why it was created. And the only way this could be done was to come up with a really amazing story about bypassing the whole financial system and whatnot, and then you're now just pinning everything on him. And you know what's going to happen? Let's just assume that they are going to prosecute this guy, okay? And he's supposed to return all this $5 billion to the US government, obviously to clear debts or whatever, okay? But you know what? A lot of other networks will still thrive. As you can see right now, already a lot of other mainnets are already being established. As you can see, Binance is already creating the Binance DEX, and Binance is creating their own mainnet, which is already launched. Other cryptocurrencies are creating their own mainnets, right? Is this really one of the signs that people are moving away from Bitcoin? And also a lot of the volume is coming in from US dollar Tether and not so much of Bitcoin, if you think about it, right? And most of the funds that are going into Bitcoin and trading and speculating on Bitcoin is clearly also from fiat current. That means any kind of fiat or any kind of US dollar Tether or any kind of stable coin. So to me, I just feel that it has already established itself. The whole network is already established. And for it to kind of take a hit just because one single individual is going to be prosecuted or basically be faulted for creating a decentralized system is a bit preposterous. I don't believe that is going to be the case. So anyway, I'm going to just go and check out the comments and see what you guys think. I always want to hear from you guys. Hi expat. Hi, King of Fun. Okay, hey, I didn't hear you for a long time. I love the subject quantum. Thomas, let's not talk about quantum. In today's episode, we're going to be talking about whether Bitcoin goes to zero if Satoshi Nakamoto is going to be revealed. I think that's a bigger question. I covered quantum quite a number of times. I mean, very briefly, the team is still working on quantum. And quantum already just released an enterprise solution. Obviously, it's not going to be the cryptocurrencies that's going to give you that 5x, 10x gains anytime soon because they are not involved in that. I think Patrick Dye made himself very, very clear that he doesn't care about the price. He's only concerned about the actual development. And in terms of, if you do follow their Twitter thread, they are always working on quantum, improving their partnerships, if you can notice, and they're also improving their wallet, how their desktop wallet works, and of course having I think even a quantum chat. All these things are happening, and all these concepts are actually from the existing system in China. The financial system in China is especially when you talk about digital asset transfer, it's very vibrant because of Alipay. So everything is just copying on the backbone of that, but they have a blockchain layer. Okay, so but yeah, you might want to just look at that. But right now, the most smart contract protocols, I am not touching them. Okay, I'm not touching any kind of smart contract protocols. One, because there is clearly no way to quantify the revenue. It's all a growth play. And at the time when the crypto markets were highly speculative, you could make money on any kind of crypto. But right now, you have to be very, very specific on what is the key trend and what is the key play. Now, obviously, what is the key trend? What is the key play? It's clearly the exchange coins. Not only that, there's a further emphasis lately on inter-blockchain. Okay, inter-blockchain. That means one blockchain can communicate with another blockchain. So when you say communicate, what does that mean? For now, in my simple-minded head, is I'm able to transfer digital tokens from this blockchain to another blockchain. I think that's really very powerful, and I kind of covered that I think 2 days ago with my thoughts. All right, so the next thing is DW, finally a voice of reason. Hey man, thanks, good seeing you too. I think Satoshi Nakamoto is a good story. I refuse to believe that one person designed a system that banks and institutions are coming to accept at some point and will move towards. I don't think that the banks want to move to the Bitcoin blockchain. They are clearly creating their own systems. Therefore, you see IBM creating Hyperledger, Ripple, right? Clearly creating something for the banks, and I'm sure there are other fast TPS chains that are focused purely for remittance and banks, clearly for that. And of course, banks always have a lot of settlement, right, that they have to do. And if they can lower the fees, it helps them to bring up their bottom line. I think that's very important. Okay, so the next one is bank charges me $5 a month just to have an account open and can only withdraw my money in certain places. Yes, Shiruba, this is true. When you have an account, let's say a business account, and even if you have no transactions, right? Every time we are being charged, especially corporate accounts, there's always a small fee. I think $5 as well. And even every time when I pay staff salary, right? I am being charged, I think, anywhere from 50 cents to $1, depending on how fast I want it to. And you know what's ridiculous? Why am I being charged 50 cents to $1 when it's a Singapore to Singapore bank? That's to me a pain in the ass, because I'm here providing for my staff. I'm providing employment. But however, why am I being kind of penalized for this transfer when it's Singapore dollars to Singapore dollars? Now, if my staff was overseas, okay, sure, you want to charge me for that, I guess it's fair. But my staff is in Singapore. Yeah, okay, so anyway, I completely understand. I feel you. And but to be fair, let's say if I were to pay you in Bitcoin, right? There is still a small little network fee. Okay, whatever that network fee is also determined by the overall congestion for that day. If that day you have huge amounts of transactions, unfortunately, it's going to cost me a lot. But if there's practically very low transactions and there are a lot of miners supporting for that particular day, then obviously transactions are going to be very fast and the fees are going to be very cheap. So there you go. Then of course, there's all the prioritization of the amount of fees that are going to go into each transaction. So there you have it. To be fair, right? So Satoshi hasn't broken any rules, the banks have. Expat, I completely agree. Like I said, the only way that Satoshi Nakamoto can be accused of anything is that they want to pin him for really serious crimes. We're talking about criminal and civil. Like, you want to pin like anything and everything. That's the only reason, right? And to me, he kind of created this economy on his own. Yes, he is genuinely going to be very rich, right? Because he obviously has he was the first to mine the Genesis block, right? And at the same time, he is the owner of that 1 million Bitcoin 1 million Bitcoin 1 million Bitcoin wallet. And sometimes I'm wondering to myself, there are so many billionaires out there in the world, okay? In the world. Let's just talk about America alone. I think it has close to 600 billionaires? Okay, 600 to 700 billionaires. Why are you even caring about someone who is having a net worth through Bitcoin, having a net worth of 5 billion? I mean, just assuming, right? Like, why does it even matter? I think it doesn't even matter at all. So this whole debacle, and I'm just very curious to see what happens. And right now, I'm pretty confident that the economy, or at least the crypto economy, will still continue to thrive and still be very healthy. That's just my thoughts, my personal opinion. Sure, we're going to have some volatility, but I'm going to take that volatility as an advantage for me to get in. I'm really hoping that that volatility will drop Bitcoin, right? Because there's an anticipation of Bitcoins to be sold or whatever, because they have to still follow through with the whole play, right? And that's when we can get in and start investing in what really matters. Because right now, there's no denying that there are companies, especially in the crypto space, that are going to do very well. Take BAT, for example. BAT is now, really testing out whether their browser is going to be revenue generating, because it's able to it's going to block advertising, but at the same time, it's going to give you it's going to incentivize you if you want to watch advertising. So that way, right, there's a revenue model for those who are, there is a revenue model for BAT. Now, can I say the same thing for every single cryptocurrency? Unfortunately, I cannot, because a lot of the crypto companies are all growth. They're all focused on the technology and how it can grow users and more developers to create stuff on their particular platform, right? May it be Decentraland, may it be Cosmo, may it be Tezos, you just name it. Just ask yourself, how many are able to really transparently put out a financial income statement? They cannot. And honestly, they don't have to, and it really doesn't matter, because that's not the play right now. Okay? So, guys, this is just basically my personal thoughts. I am not too concerned. I only hope that, it's not going to be as bad as what Dan Pina said, which is going to go to zero. Because if it goes to zero, then obviously it's going to cause a very huge repercussion of what's going to happen in the altcoin space for sure, right? And who knows, maybe because of that particular act, the real cryptocurrencies that are really showing a lot of development will rise up. And eventually you will see this deleveraging, or at least Bitcoin will no longer have that much influence upon the market. That's just a worst case scenario. But will Bitcoin still have value? For sure. Bitcoin will for sure still have value, because it was never supported by any central bank to begin with. It was really supported from either the exchanges, miners, market makers, private investors, whatever you want to call it. But whether banks were involved or not, do you think that they're going to openly reveal that? Do you think that they're going to openly reveal that? I mean, the fact that you're going to prosecute this guy or make him the scapegoat, if you will, that's the worst case scenario, right? I'm not saying that he will even be prosecuted, but I'm just saying in the event that he does, right, he's going to probably be able to reveal who's using the network. I don't know whether you can, whether you can't do that. No one knows, right? So anyway, that's just my theories. I just wanted to cover that in this episode. Anyway, I'm sure that today Endgame is definitely going to steal the thunder from this episode, but it doesn't matter. I do not want to hear what happens in Endgame. I'm going to watch it only tomorrow, unfortunately, not today. But anyway, enjoy yourself if you're going to be watching Avengers Endgame. I'm also very excited to watch it. It's 3 hours long. It has been quite a journey just watching everything. Enjoy yourselves, guys, if you're going to be catching the show. And like I said, see you in the next live stream. And don't forget to subscribe to the channel and give this a thumbs up if you enjoyed the episode, and give it a thumbs down if you didn't. And don't forget to share. See you guys.